Hey there, Mill High School. Happy Sunday. This is Dr. Foster coming to you with the very first edition of Bulldog eNews for the 2021-22 school year. School starts this Wednesday, August 11th. Man, I can't wait to see our students back in the building. Um, I know that comes with a little bit of sadness for our students and even moms and dads. That means summer's quickly coming to an end. But nonetheless, new week, new school year. And so let's dive right in. Lots of information to share. So if you're new to the Mel community, each week we will send an edition of Bulldog eNews. We try to put lots of useful, important, pertinent information in one spot where you can reference it over the course of a week or multiple days. And we try to make it user friendly. And so I'm going to walk through this week's edition of Bulldog eNews. We have a lot to share. Obviously, it's the start of school, comes with a lot of information. So we'll work through it. So right here, return to school information. Obviously, parents, you see there the Bulldog with a mask on. So as recent as 4 to 6 weeks ago, we really didn't anticipate that we would be masking, but here we are. Obviously, right now, the situation with the Delta variant and COVID, it's important for us to remind ourselves that this race is not over. And so all staff, all students, anyone that enters a JCPS building, you must have a mask on. Right now, that mask mandate applies to anything that goes on indoor, not outdoor. So right now, if you attend an outdoor event, wearing a mask is optional, not mandatory, but anytime you come indoor, our school, Mel High School, you must be masked up. I shared this link here. This is our return to school portal. It's very detailed. There's a lot there. It kind of breaks down what we're doing in 5 different areas. Parents, feel free to check that out. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Really want to thank our freshman and sophomore families and students for attending our Camp Bulldog events last week. We wanted to pass along the slide deck that was used. It's the one that I used with parents in the auditorium and teachers used with our students in classrooms. It's got a lot of information. Feel free to check it out. Let us know if you have any questions. So parents, as I shared with you last week, if you did attend Camp Bulldog, our juniors and seniors should know this because they've lived it a little bit longer. We have a block schedule, actually what's called an AB or alternate day block schedule. So this week, school will start as a purple day, and then obviously we'll start rotating every other day between gold and purple. So here's a glimpse, a little bit of a snapshot of our first couple weeks of instruction and how those days will lay out. I also shared and spent a good bit of time during Camp Bulldog talking to our parents that were in attendance about communication. Obviously, that is critical for a school to communicate with our families, our stakeholders, alumni, so on and so forth. So here are multiple ways that we communicate information out from the school to our families, to our students, to the community, to our alumni. So we're sharing our phone number, our website address, school messenger information. That's the first way that everything is blasted out. How to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then obviously email. Any JCPS employee essentially will have their email address will be their first name dot last name, and then the suffix is the same. So feel free to check that out. Some very important information about arrival and dismissal for the first few days and weeks of school, and it's broken down by car rider, bus riders, and then lastly, student drivers. So please check that out. Look at those aerial pictures and arrows. It tells you exactly where to go. It's important that we follow that as we bring on about 2,000 students onto campus. We've had a lot of calls and emails about supply list. We do not publish supply list per se. Every student will get a syllabus in each course over the first 2 days of school. So it'll take 2 days for them to see every class and every teacher. And so any supplies specific to a course will be outlined in that syllabus. So obviously students can bring the basics. They can bring an electronic device. And obviously, backpack and lunch is completely okay. I've shared this multiple times this summer, but did want to remind all students and families about the dress code is linked here. We did have a couple of updates last week, so go on and check that out specifically with masking. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know. Obviously, we ran out of inventory in our campus store during registration at Camp Bulldog's events, or we are going to have a really nice limited supply of things come in Tuesday. The bookstore will be open from 5 to 7, And then again, over the next couple 3 weeks, our bookstore, campus store should be getting back up to normal stock. So appreciate you hanging in with us. If you have any questions, reach out to Mr. John Kelsey. He's our athletic director. His email address was in the email that I sent out regarding the campus store running out of inventory. Also, want to give some information about Spirit cards as well as ID and lanyards. There's some information here that all parents need to read. It is part of our dress code that a student wears an ID and a lanyard at all times during school. We know with not being in normal school for nearly 18 months, we're going to be starting anew with IDs and lanyards. So the wonderful team in our library will be taking every student's picture, getting every student issued a new ID and lanyard, and that's going to take us a while. So that'll be happening during the school day. So those will not be mandatory on the first days of school. It's also important for anyone that purchased a Spirit card and go on here and check that out, how the ID and lanyard process will apply to you. Want to pass along to students and families, breakfast and lunch, again, will be free of charge, free of cost to students and families this school year. Students will need to know their lunch ID number to get a lunch. They will not need to know that for breakfast. Breakfast will be strictly grab and go. So we will have lists of lunch ID numbers available in the cafeteria for the first days, weeks of school, however long we need to do that. So parents, check with your child. Make sure they know their lunch ID number. If not, there's going to be spots in the cafeteria where they can touch base with someone and get that number so they can go through the line. We had an issue with senior pictures with some of our senior families. The new company Life Touch ran out of appointments. So there are some new appointments available. Feel free to check that out. If you have any questions, let me know or Ms. Gonzalez know, our PTSA president. We have some athletic updates for the coming week. And I have one more thing that I want to share before I wish just us all, our school community, a great first week. But we end each Bulldog eNews just bragging on students, bragging on teams, bragging on things that go on in our community. We call it student shout outs. But I want to challenge any parent, any student, any coach, any alumni. If you have anything to share that we can congratulate, brag, give a shout out to any Bulldog in our community that's doing a leadership thing, something inspirational, making a difference, anything, pass it along. My email is there. We love to brag on our students. So something we try to make sure that happens, the world can use as much positivity as we can possibly give it. So you can see there our first group of shout outs for the year. Even though it's been summertime, my goodness, campus has been busy, which is awesome to see. So let's make it a great first week. Students, we can't wait to see you on Monday. Check out those arrival aerial maps and know exactly where you're supposed to go. Make sure you're dressed appropriately for school. Make sure that you're masked up. Be rested. Let's get ready to roll on this first week of school. It's only 3 days. We have classes on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I can't wait for the new year. I can't wait to see our students. It's going to be awesome. And so take care of yourselves. Get some rest. You got 2 more days of summer vacation. We'll see you bright and early on Wednesday morning.